Good morning, everybody. Chief
Chief
Neurologist
Joel Fritzman here alongside
Ryan. Say hello, Ryan.
We are Machine Storm Chasers. We got our first severe thunderstorm warning of the morning out there for a wide swath of counties in West Michigan for Ottawa, Muskegon, Southern Newaygo, Kent, Ionia, and Montcalm.
I'm going to go ahead and see if my radar is ready on my end. I do not have it ready on my end. Let me get it. Actually, Ryan, go ahead and go over the details for this morning. I'm going to get my radar set up on my side.
Sure thing. So we have a severe warning in effect here until 11:15 a.m. This is going to be a wide area, multiple counties included in this warning. Listing them off, we have Kent County, Ottawa County, Newaygo County, Ionia County, Muskegon County, Eaton, Oceana, and Montcalm counties until 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. We have an echo apparently.
Should be fixed.
60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail is the overall threats with this. This is moving into downtown Grand Rapids as we speak, as of 9:53 a.m. here. Taking a peek at a couple of the tools we use. First and foremost are wind velocities. I don't see much in the way of anything severe wind-wise with this. Everything looks pretty calm, maybe 20 or 30-mile-per-hour winds. But I think the bigger threat with this is going to be that hail core. Here's your hail tracker as it moves into the Grand Rapids Metro. So that's going to be the main risk I'm going to assume with this overall thunderstorm. This is going to be over I-96 here just to the east of Coopersville, heading in toward Walker and Plainfield Charter Township on the north side of the metro area here. This hail core is about to move into Grand Rapids directly. But if we zoom out, though, we're going to... We still have an echo.
I have my mic completely muted. I don't know what to say.
Okay. Moving off into this, to the west, we have another storm here. And back to the west of that, we have a third storm across the lake into Wisconsin. So perhaps 3 separate rounds here incoming for West Michigan. We're going to take it one at a time here. Let's focus on this one for right now. This is going to be, again, Grand Rapids Metro about to cross US 131 right now, as well as 37 and 46. It's going to ride 96 here toward Lowell, Rockford, Greenville, Belding, Ionia, Lakeview up here. They actually warned it all the way up here. I'm assuming for the secondary cell behind it is a little bit wider of a swath here. So that's why I assume they put a pretty large, wide warning out here. But going to the north side of this, M46 is included. Howard City, Croton, Newaygo, Fremont, Fulton, Whitehall, back down toward Muskegon, Grand Haven, Port Sheldon, and Zeeland.
Hey, Ryan. Feel free to mute yourself on one of your sources. So either video or Discord, I think.
I'm mute on video.
Thank you. If you guys have any hail reports or damage reports that come in this morning, feel free to use and utilize our Discord server or our Michigan Weather Reports page on Facebook. Those are both there. Make sure you submit in your reports with approximate time and a measurement. We do appreciate those very much. And again, you can also send them in directly to the National Weather Service as hail does fall. This is the start of at least our morning wall-to-wall coverage here. These 3 cells are going to be pretty much the main show for the morning. And then as we get into the afternoon, we do expect somewhat of a break. Knocking on wood now because you never know. But yeah, right now it's going to be the 3 cells that Ryan just mentioned on radar. 1 over Grand Rapids right now, 1 moving onshore into Muskegon, Grand Haven. And then that third one, which is kind of more of a linear segment over there in Milwaukee right now, just getting onto Lake Michigan.
cannot help but notice that this storm is heading right for our Ionia camera here. On the map, you can actually see it listed right here. And my radar decides to stop working.
I'm currently pulling up my radar here in just a second. Still working on it right now. As you'll notice, I did get some of the road network going here on GR2. You can see pretty much every single road in West Michigan on here. It is a little cluttered in the Grand Rapids area because obviously there's a lot of roads here. But this is heading right down 96 as we speak, crossing over the East Beltline right now. If we switch over to our CC radar, not a whole lot going on in terms of large hail. We don't see a lot of blues, blues, yellows, and greens elevated within the storm. If you switch over to the VIL, though, that's also another product that we can use to kind of distinguish here. And it looks like, again, the heaviest of that hail core is going to be on the northern flank of this storm heading into Northview.
Hey, Ryan, Joel. Right now, I just want to give you guys an update on where I'm at. Right now, I'm in Utica, Michigan. Just hit that first wave, and I'm sure you guys have mentioned it already, but got some pea-sized hail, wind-driven hail with that first line. I'm about to hit the second line here in Utica. I'm heading west towards Grand Haven. I have a straight shot view of the cell here. I'll hop on and show you guys what I'm seeing here shortly.
Sweet. So that is, again, that's Drew over there in Ottawa County right now. We'll go back up to this hail core here. Heading over Coit Avenue right now, as well as West River Drive. That's more on the western extent. It's a little bit delayed on the VIL products. So this is, again, now crossing Northland Drive there. It's going to be M44 crossing the river. Pretty much going right down Canonsburg Road, third time's a charm there, and Grand River Drive as it heads over towards the west side of Grand Rapids into Forest Hills here in the coming minutes. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 11:15 a.m. So there's an hour and a half on this now. At this point, hour and 15 minutes. For Kent, Ottawa, Southern Newaygo, Ionia, Muskegon, Northwestern Eaton, Southeastern Oceana, and Montcalm County until, again, 11:15. This is in effect for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. They issued it primarily for this line that was extending from Fruitport to Allendale, so it was this front line here that you can see that's moving through downtown Grand Rapids, Northview, and Rockford right now. And these, again, are moving out to the east at 65 miles per hour. So they're moving rather quick. They'll be quick hitting. And pretty much if you know you live in any of those 6 or 7, maybe even 8 counties I mentioned, most of those counties besides Eaton, Oceana, and Newaygo are fully in the severe thunderstorm warning. So as you can see here, that warning box does clip some extreme northern portions of Eaton County there. So Sunfield and Mulliken are in that warning. If you go up here to the north portions of, you have 200th Street, 192nd Avenue, and 184th Avenue that are just barely in that warning for Oceana County. I will say that the severe weather threat for this cell is going to be confined to Kent County right now, heading towards Lowell and Belding. It's moving into southern Montcalm County and Ionia County, at least for round 1 here in the next 20 to 30 minutes, if not sooner. Again, storm motion is off to the east at 65 miles per hour. We do not expect any tornadoes with these morning lines of storms. The environment is not favorable for those, so keep that in mind. If you are in your house and you have any sort of, if you're near any windows, since this is mainly a hail threat, you want to be away from windows. Hail can come crashing through, especially if it's wind-driven hail, 65 miles per hour. That wind throws around some of those hailstones. Those become projectiles, so you do want to be inside. Interior room is always going to be your best bet. But again, more of a hail risk, so not really much of a wind risk, but it is there. They did throw it in here just in case that wind is mixing down to the surface within these cells. I think right now the wind risk is going to be more primarily offshore right now, Ryan.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the wind is about to move into Ottawa County with that secondary line.
Yeah. We have this...
I have to imagine as well, I have to imagine that these storms are elevated in nature. So a lot of that wind is above the surface, not reaching the ground. So I would only expect there to be a wind threat in the heaviest of cells. I got a pea-sized hail report coming in now near Marne for a trained spotter.
That could be Drew.
It probably is Drew, to be honest with you. But yeah, he's about to intercept that secondary line too. So if there's any wind with it, he will let us know. He's actually just to the east of Grand Haven right now. I'm going to switch my camera feed. I assume you have your radar pulled up. I can't see it right now. If you something again, there it is. I'm switching my link to the Iona camera. If you want to kind of toggle it back and forth, that will.
Okay, that's fine. So what we're looking at right now on radar is our velocity signature, which is a measurement of that wind. Anywhere where you see these brighter greens, even towards blues, so offshore here on Lake Michigan, that is going to be your indication of some heavier winds. If I hover over that pixel there, that's going to be around 50 to 55 miles per hour. So these are also borderline severe back here. But also take note that these are being measured at 25,000. Sorry, not 25,000. That's pretty high. 2,500 feet off the ground. And those are heading into Holland, portions of West Olive, and heading towards Zeeland and Hudsonville in the near future for that second line of storms. First line again, moving towards Lowell, Saranac, Belding. So, kind of back-to-back cells here, and we have one.
Joel, Ryan, I'm getting hit by the second line of storms in West Michigan. Take me now.
You can also try Ben as well. I believe Ben's heading out.
We got him.
Yeah, Drew is just to the east of Grand Haven as he approaches the second line. He's probably, he's in it right now. So we'll see if this looks windy.
Yeah, I can't even. We're going really slow here. We're going 20. Visibility is very low. Wow.
Is it windy, Drew?
We got you live, Drew.
Just FYI, Joel, I can't get into Zillow right now. So I can't do these things.
That's fine.
Apparently Ben has amazing lighting on the stream right now too. No signal.
We don't have him in here. Yeah, feel free to.
Oh, we're getting hail. Pea-sized hail right now. Got pea-sized hail right now. Wind-driven hail.
That looks like Spring Lake there. Judging by in fact, I've been through there before, and looking at Drew's dot, that is in Spring Lake right now. So he's heading towards the drawbridge. So for those who are familiar with Ottawa County, that is a west view approaching the bridges there in Ferrysburg and Grand Haven at this point. So he's very close to the lake.
I will say though, driving through that, it didn't seem to be that windy, which is good news.
Jeez.
The good news is it doesn't appear.
Yeah, we got some hydroplaning concerns here with any of these downpours here. A lot of water in the right main here. Okay, Garmin, save video.
Yeah, it looks like the good news is that a lot of that, the pinks and the reds that you're seeing on radar are not large hail mixing to the ground at the current time. But we are still seeing some hail out there, so if you do have P to maybe even marble-sized hail, feel free to send in those reports. You can tag us on Facebook and in one of our comments section. I will say, try to keep out of our messenger. We have the Michigan Weather Reports group out there on Facebook. It's a community group that you can freely join and submit your reports there. The quickest way to get your report into the National Weather Service office is just by tagging them in your post. So as long as your profile is public on Facebook and you tag them, they should be able to see that. Alternatively, you can also tag them on X, formerly known as Twitter. They are active on there as well.
Grand Rapids has continued that warning for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds until 11:15, so no change there.
Sweet.
If you want to take my video link, I have some, appears to be asperatus clouds moving in the Ione camera. You can see the star in the front trying to move in there, the darker clouds on the horizon, so keep an eye on this camera.
Just fixing something real quick.
Appears to be the storm is about 5 to 7 miles away from the camera off to the west there. This is facing due west, so about, I'm going to say, about 10 minutes or so I'll have a good view on this. I'm hoping it has a nice shell cloud on it. That'd be kind of cool to see.
It's still pretty far away from the cam there in Ione County, but we'll see it probably within the next 5 minutes. Again, these storms out here are moving off to the east at 65 miles per hour. So heaviest of this downpour right now directly over downtown Grand Rapids. Well, I should say it's moving off to the east now at this point. Pretty much moving into Lowell, about to cross the county line into Ione County. Belding, Greenville up next, and then Saranac and perhaps down towards Clarksville within the next 5 minutes. And our Ione cam here is positioned just south of M44 here, or maybe north. It's right in around this intersection of M44 and M66 on the north side of Ionia. So we'll have a view here rather quickly off of the old stone porch cam, courtesy of Guardian's Technology. So thank you, Guardian.
Yeah, the camera is positioned at M66 at Hall Road, as Joel just mentioned, the old stone porch. Big shout out to them as well for providing this camera for us, as well as Guardian. But yeah, it's just south of the 44. Yeah, this is moving very fast here on the camera. You can see the clouds. We just kind of focus on the cloud deck. You can see it's hauling to the east. They're really moving today. But also a very typical elevated thunderstorm look. We have a lot of high clouds that look really turbulent. That's very classic of these elevated storms. I have a report coming out of the Grand Rapids area of mothball size hail. 3 miles east of Wyoming in Kent County. We also have another report of mothball size hail out of Comstock Park. That's also Kent County.
What's the size on a mothball again for those who don't know?
That is 1/2 inch, so half of what we need to be severe. Severe starts at 1 inch, mothball is 1/2 inch.
There you go. Yeah, these storms are very much not surface-based. I'm looking at the surface-based CAPE right now. All of our surface-based CAPE is well off in Illinois at the current time, and we expected that this morning. A bunch of elevated storms out there rolling through the state. So again, no tornado risk with these ones. However, we do have to watch for an outside damaging wind and hail risk, which is why this storm is currently severe thunderstorm warning, or thunderstorm warned for Ionia, Kent, Ottawa primarily, but it also includes portions of Montcalm, Newaygo, and Muskegon. And we're also going to have to watch out for this line, kind of the last line in this entire mesoscale convective system here. that is moving over the lake, halfway over the lake right now, heading for pretty much the same locations here in Muskegon and Ottawa County, perhaps even clipping portions of Allegan County in the time upcoming. And at this current time, looks like it could be the strongest of the storms, but we'll have to see as this plays out in the next hour. He is saying mothball, M-O-T-H, not Goff.
Yeah, moth.
Our Midwestern accents sometimes kind of come into play here. Yeah, Grand Rapids pretty much out of the heaviest for now. Round 2 heading right down Lake Michigan Drive right now, M45. Heading into Allendale, Coopersville, Ravenna here soon. I would imagine the second line's going to be into Grand Rapids in the next 15 minutes or earlier, as these storms move off to the east at 65 miles per hour. There's all your hail reports popping in there, Ryan, on GR2.
Yeah, I see them.
Train spotter reports 0.25 inch hail up there in the Cannonsburg area. So pea-sized hail. Now rolling into Smyrna, Belding, Lowell as we speak. Saranac up next in a minute. And Ionia very soon. We'll switch back to the camera here. Yeah, very asperatus looking out there.
Very turbulent. We're going to have probably 3 waves, if not 4 waves, of storms pushing off Lake Michigan. First is about to impact Ionia here. It's going to impact Grand Rapids. Second, about to impact Grand Rapids. A third is just coming on shore now, again toward Grand Haven. And a fourth, bigger line over the lake currently pushing across. Will arrive probably in about probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It's moving at 65 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting to get really close here to the camera. We're probably about 3 or 4 miles away, so I have to imagine we're going to get a good view of this in probably less than 5 minutes. I will go ahead and cycle through some of these cameras too. We have also a Charlotte camera here on the Charlotte Fire Department, which is just south, not just south, but south of Ionia. This is looking due west to the north a little bit as well. And also we do have Dearborn on the east side. We also have Harbor Beach, as well as Burton, which is not currently cycling through. So we're going to leave it right here on Ionia and kind of take a peek between Ionia and then Charlotte. Just kind of keep an eye on things back and forth here.
I was going to say, you were coming across a little quiet on my end. I'm going to up you on Discord real quick just to see how that works. All right, speak now.
Speak.
How's that sound, everyone?
I'll go ahead and say a blurb here. We have a secondary line moving across I-96 currently. If you're in Coopersville, Denison, Marne, Walker areas on I-96, you guys have some hail, small hail, maybe perhaps large hail. Doesn't appear to be that large though, but heavy rain, probably some small hail at very least. Moving across 96 here into Grand Rapids, Hudsonville, all up to Casanova. A second line pushing into Grand Haven currently. Also, same hazards, could bring some hail with it as well. Right now, the metro Grand Rapids area is clear of rain, but that will change in about 10 minutes or so, 10 minutes or less. Ooh, that was a nice bolt.
It was.
That's on your screen.
It's very electric out there today with how much elevated cape we have in the atmosphere. So definitely dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning out there. We'll use the word dangerous because it's basically the main mode for lightning today. You will still see some cloud-to-cloud strikes out there, but I noticed this morning when I was watching the very first line of storms roll through, which is up here more in central Michigan, we had a lot of bolts from cloud to ground. So you do want to be taking your precautions that if you do hear thunder, please go indoors. And the safety mode on any sort of thunderstorms is wait 30 minutes after you hear thunder or see lightning before resuming outdoor activities if you do have outdoor activities planned today. So keep that in mind. Anytime that lightning or thunder does happen while you're counting down from 30 minutes, you'll want to restart that timer. These things are definitely hauling. Each radar scan right now is updating at 3 minutes a scan. That was the early morning stuff there. That kind of you can still see on your screen. That's looping. But yeah, just goes to show you how quickly these are moving through West Michigan. I would imagine these are going to be through this. If they can stay together, they'll be through the state probably by 1, maybe sooner. Again, 65 miles per hour across the state. State's about 150 miles wide. Yeah, probably about 2 hours, I would have to imagine, 2-3 hours before this stuff is completely through the east side. If it stays together. Start to see a little bit of the rain core popping up on the screen there. It looks like over the trees.
On that fourth line over the lake, I know it's elevated, the radar beam is at least, but it does have indications of heavier wind gusts a lot. So I'll have to keep an eye on that, see how that trends. Check your velocity on that one, you can check it out. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I have it pulled up right now. Where you're seeing these blues and the velocity, those are the winds that are going to be around severe or higher than severe. Again, they are elevated. This is at 7,700 feet off the ground. But it's possible that some of these storms, despite the capping conversion out there today, some of those damaging winds could mix to the ground. So keep that in mind. This was severe thunderstorm warned for winds in Racine County, Wisconsin previously. So we'll have to watch it here in the next 30 minutes, maybe sooner here as it rolls into Muskegon, south of Muskegon, and towards Holland, and even towards Fenville and Saugatuck.
Go ahead and reiterate as well. This warning is a large warning, including multiple counties. It is in effect for another hour, essentially. 11:15 is the expiration time. I believe what they did is they went ahead and just put a large box there to account for every single one of these lines of storms here pushing through. So this may also include that storm still on Lake Michigan, still to come. So numerous rounds here for Muskegon, Southern Newaygo, Southern Mecosta, or sorry, so Montcalm, not Mecosta. Ionia, Kent, and Ottawa counties. I'm going to take the Ionia camera. I'm about to get rain here on it shortly.
Looks like we got a special rain warning update here. Did you just read that off?
I can. It says the Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a marine warning near shore and open waters from South Haven to Whitehall at 9:52. Severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending 21 nautical miles east of Bayside to near Racing, moving east at 55 knots, which is about 65 miles an hour or so. Large hail is occurring as well as wind gusts above 34 knots. So they are saying hail is the main threat with that fourth round.
Yeah, these storms do have somewhat of an effect on what could happen later today if it puts down any outflow boundary and kind of counteracts with the warm front moving up from the north. Then we could see that warm front be a little bit further south and a lot of our action dip to the south. So kind of similar to what we saw on April 2nd. Currently right now, we're going to expect the heaviest of thunderstorms later today to kind of be along the same zone. But again, we'll track that when the time comes. Again, that will be later this evening. Right now, we're watching three and a half different cells, I would say. Here's a miniature one coming in through Grand Haven right now, crossing over US 31. heading right down Taylor Avenue and Robbins Road. There in extreme western Ottawa County along the lake shore. And not surface-based storms, so your only risk here is going to be winds and hail. No tornado risk.
They did just trim Oceana County out of that warning. So Oceana County, as well as the northern half of Muskego, and what appears to be the southern half of Newaygo, is no longer included in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Oceana's completely trimmed, Newaygo's completely trimmed, and half of Montcalm has been trimmed. Remains in effect for southern Muskegon, southern Montcalm, Ottawa, Kent, and Ionia. This is a second area that they added in the text. This is a second area of thunderstorms that it was following the strong but non-severe storms currently over Ionia area that are also moving east.
So essentially, they're calling that Ionia cell non-severe at this point.
Yeah, so it's a handoff to the second cell now, which is moving into Walker, Standale, Marne, Comstock Park, Northview, and Grand Rapids here all within the next 5 minutes. Wyoming, Granville, Kentwood as well in the next 5 minutes. I don't believe it'll get as far south as Cutlerville, but be on alert Cutlerville for some heavier rains if this does extend a little bit further south. Another way you guys can report hail, not necessarily through pictures, but with an app. There's the MPing app. We usually tell you to use it during the winter seasons because it's good for reporting precipitation, but you can also report hail sizes in there as well, and the National Weather Service office will directly see that. So check out the MPing app, MPING, free to download on the App Store for you guys' phone if you want to do and submit storm reports.
Got some rain moving in here to the Charlotte area. Again, this is courtesy of the Charlotte Fire Department. Camera on the building there, facing to the west-northwest. You can just tell the clouds are moving at a very fast pace today.
More lightning
Nice.
there.
Yeah, nice lightning. The heavier rain looks to be about to hit.
Yeah. So that's the cell that you can see on radar heading into Carson City, Hubbardston, directly over the camera right now. Heaviest of the hail core, if there's a hail core there, is going to be traveling directly down Van Vleck Road, as well as East Jenks Road, Snows Lake Road, and to a southern extent there, Broden Road. Currently over the northwest road of Allen and Stedman, as well as Peoples, and of course M66 included. On the western side, Decker Road, and even Youngs Road there, all in Ionia County. Again, heading pretty much down the Ionia County, Montcalm County line towards Hubbardston and Carson City. That is cell number 1. Cell number 2 rolling into Grand Rapids right now. Obviously a million streets here to kind of narrow it down to. This one right over Kenowa Avenue right now in Jenison and Granville. Crossing over Wilson Avenue here soon, is currently ongoing, traveling right down Indian Mounds Drive and 196 into Grand Rapids. Northern extent of this, heading into Walker right now, traveling directly down Johnson Street and 4 Mile Road. So this will be heading towards, again, Comstock Park, Northview, northeast side of Grand Rapids in the minutes to come.
Going to reiterate as well, if you guys have reports or pictures of hail or damage from today's storms, please direct those to our group on Facebook. It is called Michigan Weather Reports. That is the easiest and most efficient, quickest way to get info to us. Again, our messenger inbox from storm days like this, we get probably close to 1,000+ messages. We're not going to see it right away. Whereas the reports, we can see every single post as soon as we enter that group, and we can actually pinpoint exact areas being impacted in real time. So please utilize that group today when reporting hail, damage, storm pictures, videos, etc. Thank you.
Hail core number 3 currently tracking over US 31 right now, going straight down Comstock Street as well as Robbins Road, and if my mouse can hover over it there, that's going to be Hayes Street, Northwest Road of 168th Avenue as well as 172nd Avenue. Moving towards the Mercury Drive region and the eastern extent of Robbins Road as well as 152nd Avenue. So all those roads there just south of Grand Haven. Also pretty much traveling over the Grand River as well. So anywhere in the vicinity of the Grand River. So we'll be moving pretty close to Allendale. I know Allendale's already been hit twice. Third time's a charm. Maybe not so much with this one. But again, we are watching this one over the lake still, which would be, I guess, round 4. You could consider it. Storm motion again off to the east at 65 miles per hour. So if you know anyone in the Grand Rapids area or anywhere in the severe thunderstorm warning right now, feel free to share the stream with them. If you don't know anybody in the area, obviously a like goes a long ways as well. We do appreciate you guys for watching this morning. Trusting us for your severe weather coverage across the state. We'll be live off and on throughout the day today as severe weather happens, if it does happen. And we have that capping inversion later today that will come into place. And again, we'll have to see what happens with the capping inversion. But again, these storms are above that capping inversion that is also currently out there right now. So even if we don't get surface-based storms, we can still expect some elevated storms with a primarily hail and damaging wind risk later this evening. So thank you guys all for subscribing and following the page as well that have done so far today. If you do not want thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms especially, you are rooting for that capping inversion to stay in place. I see a couple people in here in chat saying Team Cap, go Team Cap. So absolutely. Cell number 1 now moving quickly into southern Gratiot, northern Clinton County. Carson City currently getting hit. Middleton, Perrington up next. Pompeii is how it's pronounced, not Pompeii. Remember we had that discussion last year along the M57 corridor. Could be impacted here in the next 10 minutes. Maple Rapids up next as well. Southern extent of the storm, although I will say the hail core is pretty much off to the north, is the M21 corridor from Palamo down to Fowler down to St. John's. So that's kind of your extent there. You can see anywhere where you see the reds and the pinks matches up pretty well with our VIL, which has downtrended in the last 5 minutes. So it looks like this hail risk for cell 1 is kind of on its way out. But a lot of pinks and reds still hovering over Grand Rapids. If it's not hail in Grand Rapids right now, you're receiving quite a torrential downpour. If you have to go outside, you'll probably come back inside looking like you just took a nice shower. So downtown Grand Rapids getting hit right now. Lots of rain and thunder. That would make sense. Downtown being impacted right now. East Grand Rapids up next in the next 1 to 2 minutes. Forest Hills in the next 3 to 4 minutes. It's going to be traveling right down M21 as it heads towards Lowell here soon. That cell, I will say that number 1 cell there in Carson City region has definitely kind of lost its mojo a little bit. Still some pinks and reds in there. Could be some pea-sized hail, but I think storm number 2, 3, and 4 here are the ones that are taking up a lot of the energy right now. And there is quite a spike of hail, perhaps, in that line, especially as it heads towards Muskegon and Grand Haven. So that could be some wind-driven hail here soon, Ryan.
Yeah, I was about to say that cell over the lake has my eye, has had my eye for the past about 20 minutes or so. I'm waiting to see as it gets closer to that radar, because those radar beams go up in the atmosphere, if we're seeing what's happening, 7,000 feet above our heads, or if it's going to be still showing that when it comes on shore when it's 3,000 feet. So we're going to keep an eye on that and see how that trends here in the next 10 minutes or so. But right now, I definitely do think that cell over Lake Michigan is the most concerning out of any of these cells currently over land. Grand Haven just had pea-sized hail. Thank you, Dan, for that report. And again, if you guys have reports, the best way to send those to us is, again, Michigan Weather Reports group on Facebook. You can drop it in chat here, but the odds of us seeing it are low because chat behind the scenes here, it's like if you're try to sign up for something like a subscription, you gotta set your birth date, take your thumb scroll, it's going to be scrolling like this. We can't see it. Very often, we're not going to see it at all. So, the best way to report stuff is via the group. I hope that made sense. I don't know if you guys know what I'm referencing or not, but when you sign up for like a new product or software, you gotta set your birthday, you gotta scroll down to your birthday. Maybe it's just old people problems.
Rest of the day kind of looks clustered on our model runs, but at this point, now that we're on the day of, we're kind of straying away from the models and more looking at our meso analysis throughout the day. It looks like some couple lines of training showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, especially as we get into the evening hours of 6 o'clock and later. So keep that in mind. So this is just our first round of the day. We technically had a round earlier. You could call that round 0 for portions of central Michigan. That was not severe, but it did pack quite a punch in terms of thunder and lightning for those living along and north of US 10.
I will say, latest scan, Joel, near the Grand Rapids radar, we're getting really close to surface gust here, 30 to 40 miles per hour over, let's get it road here, over Boston Street and Plymouth Avenue here, that general area around the south and east part of that Metro Grand Rapids. Winds there are, again, 30 to 40, not severe, but it's close to the radar, so likely some gustier winds occurring right by the Doppler radar there in Grand Rapids.
Is that in East Grand Rapids?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, directly over Breton Road, sorry. So we're using a couple different radar products out there this morning. Starting to congeal a little bit back there, just a tad. This could turn into one kind of big linear segment, especially as it comes off the lake. But you notice some cells are starting to fire up there, just offshore of Grand Haven. But still looks like some wind-driven hail in there. We're looking at on the velocity radar here, which is your Christmas-colored radar, I guess you could say, with the reds and the greens. We also call it like the X-ray radar because it kind of gives you a peek inside of the storms, what the winds are actually doing. So anywhere you see these greens here are winds heading towards the radar site, which is here at the airport. Where the brighter colors are, so where the greens turn into very bright greens and even turn into blues, that's going to be your heavy to even severe winds. And they're better picked up here on our base velocity radar. So if I hover over this, we're seeing 65 to perhaps even 70 miles per hour winds at less than a mile off the surface right now. So that combined with perhaps some hail, as you can see, mixing in our correlation coefficient radar, which is a measurement of the uniformity of the precipitation droplets in the atmosphere. So if you see reds and purples here, that's going to be just rain droplets because those are circular. Hail is obviously very rugged in shape, so you have the yellows, blues, and greens here. So looks like some wind-driven hail definitely in store here for Muskegon, Grand Haven. That's going to be your cell number 3 or 4, I guess you could say, within this line later this evening. So also we'll say that it looks like that Carson City storm is still trying to pack a punch in terms of wind. Again, it's an elevated storm, so it's going to be kind of hard to get that wind to mix down to the surface, but you can see those reds, those brighter reds there, indicative of some winds that are at severe limits, at least 3,100 feet off the ground right now. So
it appears just kind of new Mesoscale discussion issue for our area. I'm going to check it out here.
So there's a new Mesoscale discussion?
Yes, it appears so. Watch is unlikely. according to the latest discussion. Pop open the chat here. It's not loading in yet. But it does say probability of hail up to $0.5 size, gust up to 60 possible portions of Lake Michigan, southern and central lower Michigan. So basically, they're just watching these storms as they push across the state. They don't expect to issue a watch for these. That's all they're saying. But still, severe weather is possible. I think the overall risk for tornadoes today is on the lower end of things. I feel like questions here in chat about that. I think the best threat for that would be along the warm front if storms can break that cap late afternoon in the evening. Other than that, I'm not really seeing too much of a risk for anything tornadic. Be a little bit shocking to see, unless that cap is weaker than expected, then you could see a little bit more of some rotation, but that's not expected. That a fourth line is about to push into Muskegon, Grand Haven, Port Sheldon areas. So we'll see if we have any confirmed wind gusts out of that area. Looks like the Iona camera is starting to pick up on the horizon of that storm number 2. The center of your screen there, it looks a little bit darker in nature. We'll have to keep an eye on that as it pushes closer. But round 2 is about 15 miles away from the camera. So we'll wait and see how long it takes for it to get in the view here. Can you explain what a cap is? Bradley asked. Yeah, I can. So a cap, basically, think of it as a lid on the atmosphere. It's a layer of warmer air above the surface that storms try to break through, and it can't. So when you have that lid or the cap in place, you can have all the ingredients for severe weather, but you're not going to have storms form, if that makes sense. So as long as that cap's in place, our severe risk is pretty, I'm not going to say low because we'll still have hail with the cap in place, which is what's occurring now. But overall, for like damaging winds to become a really high concern, or tornadoes, you want to see those surface-based storms with no cap. That wind, Joel, I'm getting 63 at 3,500 feet.
Yeah.
So that may be a downburst there. When you have a cap in place like we did this morning, you can still get isolated instances of damaging winds. And that is thanks to microbursts or downbursts from these heavier thunderstorms. All that rain and all that hail has to hit the ground and spread outward, and that's what causes some gusty winds.
As we go on throughout the day, make sure you do have multiple ways, as Julie mentions here in our YouTube chat, multiple ways to receive warning. Again, outdoor warning sirens should be your last mode of receiving warning, as those are very unreliable and inconsistent. And again, as it says in the name, outdoor warning sirens, they are not meant to be heard indoors. So you should automatically have a way to receive warnings when you're inside of your residency. So whether that's apps on your phone, wireless emergency alerts, Midland Weather Radio, we highly recommend. Or us here at Michigan Storm Chasers, we're live for every single severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning in the state. Having more than one way is going to be your best course of action. I will even say this, a buddy system is another way to receive warnings. If you are in a place where you can't rely as much on technology per se, but you have a friend that avidly tracks the weather, or if you're one of those friends that avidly tracks the weather and you can buddy system with another friend, that is a good way to get warning if you are out of the loop, I guess you could say. So keep that in mind. These storms are still racing off to the east at 65 miles per hour, hence why these storms on Lake Michigan have been pushing very, very quickly towards Muskegon Grand Haven. And less than 5 minutes, Muskegon Grand Haven expect some gusty winds and probably some wind-driven hail moving in. So,
yeah, I have the observation map pulled up here. I'm keeping an eye on wind gust reports as that pushes on the shore here. So I'll keep you updated on what I see. And I will go ahead and plug this, a little bit of a off topic, but on topic. If any businesses on the Western Michigan Lake Shore want to sponsor a weather camera, we would be interested in talking with you. We are in need of Lake Michigan weather cameras. So if you have a business, you live by a lake, Lake Michigan especially, feel free to get in contact with us. We'd love to talk. Highest wind gust report so far, Muskegon 45. This is not valid, but there is a 142 mile per hour wind report out of Montague. That is, again, not valid. It's kind of funny.
Wait, where?
Montague, sorry, I said
Oh,
Montague.
yeah,
Montague.
That's definitely not
is,
happening.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Bad data.
Bad data, yeah. 46 miles per hour is more realistic in that exact same area. I'm not sure if you have the Ionia camera pulled up here, but it's got a nice view of some leading edge clouds coming in. Looks like potential shelf there behind the trees, maybe. Grand Rapids has updated the severe warning. It says 1-inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds, canceled Ionia, Montcalm, and Newaygo, but continues Eaton, Kent, Muskegon, and Iowa counties. So they shrunk this down to just 4 counties now. Yeah, this one's a little bit more organized, looks like, in terms of structure.
The warning has a very, very weird shape to it.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they left out a very small, if you flip it back a frame, you can see what the box used to look like. They cut Montcalm and Ionia from it, but it says Eaton County still in the warning. That is because of this tiny little sliver that travels right down the CSX railroad here through Sunfield and Mulliken. Kind of weird. It's literally just that line there. I kind of forgot to edit that, but their intentions were that the severe thunderstorm warning does not include northern Barre and extreme northern Eaton. It just includes southern Muskegon, Kent, and Ottawa County. Hail core, strongest of hail core right now heading right for Grand Haven and Ferrysburg. I'm gonna see if we have a Drew cam in here. We do not yet. Drew is parked right there at the Grand Haven beach, at least as of his last update. That 1 mile by 30 mile strip, better watch out. Yes, absolutely. If you're getting updates on your phone, that is an update to that severe thunderstorm warning. They did trim Montcalm and Ionia, but sometimes they do push out those alerts. Looks like a 0.25-inch pea-sized hail report came in from...
Hey guys, Drew here. I just want to give you guys an update. Right now I'm in Grand Haven. A lot of hydro concerns out here with the first 2 storms that came through. I'm seeing a lot of localized flooding here. This next batch here is just about to hit me here shortly, so just want to give you guys an update.
Thank you, Drew. Could you go ahead and go live if you're able? That'd be awesome. Thank you. We'll see if we can get his cam in here. Still wait. But he is... Yeah, he's at...
Yeah, I'll hop on here shortly.
He's at the state park. 0.25 inch, not 2.5. So pea-sized hail. Where's the rest of the box? The rest of the box got eaten. Gone. Just that little sliver.
Check out the end of the camera now, Joel. There you go.
A report in chat of lost power in Muskegon.
I'll check on that.
That would make sense given the strongest of winds are now pushing into Norton Shores and Muskegon right now. I'm going to go ahead and take my radar back. This area of blue you see on your radar here is winds up to 60 miles per hour, perhaps even 63, 64, directly over Norton Shores.
Hopping on now.
So these winds are heading right towards US 31, heading straight down Sheridan Drive and Muscatawa Trail and Broadway Avenue as it heads off towards southern Muskegon County, I guess you could say. So take shelter right now if you are in southern Muskegon County and northern Ottawa County. We'll go ahead and take Drew here briefly.
Right here.
There we go. We got Drew up.
Looks like those winds are elevated, but we'll find out here shortly.
Is there a way we can stop the echo on him?
I think it's just super loud.
They did update that warning now. They did cancel out of that. So Kent, Muskegon, Ottawa until 11:15 a.m. 1-inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds. As far as the outages go, I do not have any currently showing Muskegon. If they just happen, it may take a few minutes for it to pop in. But I will say there are sporadic outages across Kent County, and there's also a couple coming in near Belding. I assume it's either from lightning or if it's gusty in certain localized pinprick areas, but nothing widespread at this point yet. Again, if outages are just happening in Muskegon, they may take like 5 or 10 minutes to pop on my screen here. So I'll keep an eye on it.
I turned down Drew's cam, so hopefully it's a little bit softer. Every single audio source seems to be different today.
If you have Zello open on your desktop, you can mute his stream cam so you only have one coming through. Or one or the other.
Gotcha.
If I need to mute myself on video so you can mute your desktop, we can also do that.
Yeah, if you're coming through both sources, Ryan, feel free to mute yourself on one.
I'm only going through a Discord right now, which is desktop, so should be good. If you want me to switch to video, though, I can.
Aren't you on video?
My audio's on video now.
Oh, do what you gotta do. Either one's fine. So. So looking now,
60 mile per hour at 2,500 feet. That's not quite on the ground, but it's getting closer and closer, and it's not really weakening yet. So it's also a little bit of a bow out area there. If you go to reflectivity there, Joel, you can see it's kind of a bowed out segment there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be shocked if these winds are reaching the ground.
This area right in there. That's what we're looking at right now. Pretty gusty. We still have those cells over here in the capital cities region. We actually have, kind of looks like it's kind of re-upped its hail core just a little bit there as it passes through Lowell, north of Saranac, south of Smyrna. So some potentially severe hail rolling right down Potters Road, Richmond Road, and Saley's Road, I believe is how it's pronounced. I live over in this area, so kind of familiar with the area, but the road names are kind of fleeting me right now. But yeah, those are heading directly in Ionia, the hail core there, which it's headed. Yeah, it's heading pretty much directly at the camera, which you can see on Ryan's screen right now.
New update here continues the wind at 60 miles per hour at now 2,200 feet. That's heading in towards the Nunica and Sullivan areas on the on Ottawa and Muskegon County lines. This actually might get windy here in Ionia as well. I have to imagine with a downburst potentially. We'll see how the winds look as this storm passes over the camera.
Heaviest winds appear to be through Muskegon at the current time. It could still be getting gusty there. Directly over Fruitport right now in Wolf Lake, extending down through Grand Haven, and perhaps as far south as West Ottawa there. Heading towards Grand Valley State University there in Allendale, as well as Coopersville and Ravenna. And as Ryan mentioned, Nunica is also included with these stronger gusty winds, perhaps some wind-driven hail within this thunderstorm. So, severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 11:15, so it's got about 20 more minutes on it here until it expires. We could see some warnings get issued downstream here. For example, this storm in Ionia County, if it poses a elevated hail risk, we could see a warning issued for that soon. So,
got some lightning popping on camera now too.
Oh yeah, look at that, and straight for the camera.
I get probably 60 seconds or so.
Yeah, take this full cam because it kind of cuts off the top if I have it on the other full screen cam. So what you're seeing out there this morning are storms firing above the cap. They're called elevated storms. They're not surface-based. If they are surface-based, they'd be a lot more severe than they already are, tapping into its full potential. But again, because they're elevated, that also negates any tornado risk, and it kind of gets reserved to a very low, severe, kind of borderline severe hail and wind risk. But still severe nonetheless. If you're in southern Muskegon County and northern Ottawa County right now, well, all of Ottawa County, I should say, you should be preparing. Just take shelter for now, just in case some strong gusty winds do come through, and then Kent County on deck here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So,
yeah, that pocket of heavier winds now is 60 to 62 miles per hour, under 2,000 feet now, heading in toward the Sullivan area, just to the south of or just actually Ravenna included. Conklin and Coopersville area, you guys need to be inside and away from windows as this gusty thunderstorm moves through. These are winds that are 60 to around 62 or so miles per hour, right around 1,900 feet off the surface. Here comes the rain. No wind yet.
And we do have all ingredients, shear lift, instability, and moisture in place today. The limiting factor will be that capping inversion for later tonight. So keep that in mind. Zooming out at the radar right now real quick, since it was requested. This is how it looks statewide. You have a lot of kind of just stratiform rain happening up there. Probably a lot of thunder and lightning as well. Lake Osceola, Mecosta, and Newaygo counties, as well as far north as Grand Traverse, Wexford, Missaukee, and Kalkaska County. And that's all rain up there. The severe thunderstorms, any major thunderstorm action is going to be happening kind of down here on the southern end of things. We also have one single line of showers and storms moving through Jackson and Lenawee County here soon. But the strongest of thunderstorms is going to be riding right down 96 and eventually 69 as it heads towards Flint and Lapeer later. So we'll have probably a nice view if these storms stay together on our Burton cam later this morning as we crawl into the noon time frame.
I actually have a very thin line of thunderstorms heading toward me. I just noticed that. A lot of lightning too.
Yep.
Do I dare run outside with my my camera?
I think I just got that lightning bolt as it struck there. I switched it back just in time. More of a cloud to cloud there.
Can you hear that?
Hear what?
I turned the audio on the camera.
I don't think I do. Maybe our comments will let us know if they can hear the audio
Well,
through
let's
the
hear
camera.
that. It's like a little deep wind sound.
I personally can't hear it, but that's probably because I don't have monitor turned on. So it looks like our first cell is pretty much fizzled out at this point. Still some heavy rains moving into the Saginaw County area, already in the Saginaw County area, moving towards Tri-Cities, as well as Chesaning, St. Charles, Montrose, Birch Run. Cell number 2, pretty strong. Still not currently severe thunderstorm warned, but a lot of reds and pinks mixing in there. Could be a nice hail core moving through the north side of Ionia right now, heading towards Muir and Lyons. So it travels right down M21. And then we're also watching some small wind-driven hail here in portions of Ottawa County and southern Muskegon County at the current time.
Just want to give you guys another update. Planning to head towards Hudsonville, Michigan to hit that tail end of that last line of storms that are moving through. While I was in Fruitport, I mean, you guys probably saw it in the live stream, definitely got hit by the quote-unquote main core of those strongest winds and hail. I didn't get really any hail with that line or really strong winds at all, just really heavy rain. I will say, especially throughout Ottawa County, I've seen a lot of flooded roads, especially in the right side of the lane, so I would recommend.
I still do not see any outages coming in from Muskegon on Consumers Energy. I have 615 people affected, scattered throughout Kent and most of Ionia County. Winds now on the storm moving in toward the northern half of Kent, currently in Ottawa and Muskegon County. The winds on that storm are now appear to be 50 to 55 at about 1,500 feet. So as that storm gets closer to the radar, it does appear that it is becoming less and less in terms of winds, and that is expected as those radar beams do go higher from the atmosphere further away. So you get closer, the lower the beam height, the lower you get in the server on the storm, so to speak, and the wind is elevated, so it's not going to surface here. So good news, I'm going to say.
Looks like Drew's back on the road again, as he mentioned, heading down 96 in the backside of the storm, heading into Coopersville right now. It's kind of congealing, as I mentioned, into one big linear segment here, crossed from Grand Haven over towards Ionia. Back to your cam here, see if there's anything. Not really.
Not really.
You can see the rain.
You can see the rain falling at least for sure.
Is there another way to submit pictures if we don't have Facebook? Yeah, so we have a Discord server as well. The link to that is discord.gg/Michigan Storm Chasers once you download the app, or if you're watching a computer today, you can set up an account on your computer as well. So we have a room that's dedicated to damage reports, survey reports, stuff like that. Feel free to utilize that.
People are saying I have an echo again. They can't hear me.
I literally didn't change anything.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. While Joel tries to fix the echo, I think I'm good to go. If I have an echo, let me know, but I'll go ahead and take radar if you want to take my, actually, I'll share it. Hold on. Let's back up here for you. There you go. My radar's live if you want to take me. There we go. So currently we have numerous thunderstorms out here across the western part of Michigan. We are going to be looking at a severe warning still in effect here for another 10 minutes or so for the Kent, Ottawa, Muskegon, and that's it. Kent, Ottawa, Muskegon County areas. It's going to be for this cell right here as that pushes in toward the Grand Rapids metro area. That's going to be moving in pretty much 5 to 10 minutes here, moving pretty quickly across the area. Also, a secondary area of storms has also developed down here by Holland. So if you live in Holland, you guys also on deck here for another round of storms, as well as Zealand, Hudsonville, Port Sheldon, Douglas, perhaps over toward Wayland as well, but that's a bit further out from right now. So I'm not going to worry about you guys just yet. But the warning here, 60-mile-per-hour winds, as well as large hail up to quarter size. Have not had any reports of either yet. So that's good news. Actually, the warning has been dropped down to just wind now. There is no longer a hail threat, a severe hail threat, should I say, with this storm. We could still have some P's to perhaps dime penny-sized hail below severe, but the wind now is 60 miles per hour, and that is the only hazard for this severe warning. It will expire in about 10 minutes, 9 minutes now at 11:15 a.m.
Testing 1 2 on the back end here. Hopefully there's not an echo this time. I did not change anything, so let me know. I'll let you guys know I did not change a single setting, so I have no idea what happened.
Hey, do we have Owen or Jonah from West Michigan Weather. I believe they're out here. I'm not sure if they're chasing or if they're at home base, but I believe their dot is on there, so want to check them. Nothing. Okay.
They are not live.
Going further to the east here, go ahead and take a peek at the east side of the state real quick here. We have a line of rain, perhaps a couple thunderstorms further south here toward Adrian. These are not severe. They're pretty weak, it looks like, in nature, but still a lot of lightning occurring through Hillsdale, especially that southern part of Hillsdale County, and probably southern Illinois as well. Up further north, I don't see much in the way of any lightning occurring with these showers up by Lansing or Brighton area. Up here by Flint, same thing applies. Rain showers, but not much yet. But we do have those storms off here to the west pushing your way. Up here by Bay City, Saginaw, the Tri-City area, scattered showers, perhaps a couple thunderstorms there. Those are not severe at this time, but we'll have to watch these ones off to the west here, as these are the ones that are going to push across the state here over the next 2 or 3 hours. So if there's going to be anything severe between now and 2 or 3 o'clock, it's going to be out of this cluster right here. Going further north up here toward the Gaylord area, just some rain showers up there, and then it's completely dry north of the radar. And also for the UP area, there's not much happening up there. You guys are all clear. That risk later on in the afternoon, evening, and perhaps overnight as well is going to be dependent on the cap breaking and also that warm front that's going to surge north here later on this afternoon. These storms are on the north side of the front, which just means elevated. It's more stable on the surface. So once that warm front crosses, that is when we start building instability, and that is when stuff like sunshine begins to matter, stuff like that. So let's keep an eye on that warm front, and we'll talk about all the details on this threats later on today, probably after this severe warning drops. We have a flood advisory now for Kent County. Again, flood advisory for Kent. It appears to be a portion of Kent, not the entire county. I'm going to try and get details on that. In fact, let me go ahead and try and pop this on my screen here so it filters in. Can't make it out.
Nothing in Auburn Hills, Ambrose. This is currently a west side of the state event.
There's your flood advisory. So it's a small portion of Kent, basically the Metro Grand Rapids area, to be exact, down to Wyoming, up here toward Rockford and Sparta. But not surprising there, we have numerous rounds pushing through the area, so dumping heavy rain, not surprised by that at all. I don't really see much in the way of anything wind-wise occurring with these storms. Check the hail tracker and not see much of anything on hail that looks concerning either. So I'm going to assume at least they're going to drop this warning at 11:15 and perhaps go statement to see how it plays out. But right now, on a personal standpoint, I'm not seeing too much of anything concerning for severe at this time. The consumer's energy outage map continues to show very little in the way of outages moving in. We had 615 affected. We're now down to 606, so no new outages being reported here. We do have actually one new one up by the Belmont area on the US 131 that just popped in. Looks like we have about 500 people affected by that. That's a new one I haven't seen yet. That was reported as of 1 minute ago, so that's brand new. Highest wind gust report, we had a 40-mile-per-hour gust here in Montague, and that is the only update I see. It looks like 37 miles per hour down by West Olive, which is south of Grand Haven. I don't see much in the way of anything severe wind gust report-wise.
I have my microphone maxed, and I have Ryan's audio maxed, so not sure why we're coming through as quiet on people's ends, but Ryan, if there's anything you can do on your end to make it just a tad bit louder, I guess. But my microphone is peeking into the yellow, so it should be sufficient. I was actually, when I was watching feedback through YouTube and Facebook, it was coming through pretty well on my end, so.
I am all the way turned up via my microphone, so I don't have anything on my end either.
You're all the way up on your end?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're barely getting into the yellow on mine. And I have you at I can get you, try and get you louder here. Problem is, if we have Drew come in, it's gonna be super loud. So if you speak now, Ryan, test it out.
Test 1, 2.
That's a little bit better. It's peeking into the red now.
1 minute until this severe warning is expiring. We'll see if they decide to continue or if they want to statement it. My guess is they're going to do an expiration of the warning and they'll probably put a statement on it. There's a warning dropping off your screen. So the warning should also drop off her ticker here momentarily as well.
Eventually.
New statement in effect here for the Tri-City area. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the Detroit radar. This statement in effect for 1 hour on the dot. Winds in excess of 40 miles per hour, as well as half-inch hail, so mothball size.
I'm going to go ahead and post that on the page.
You want to, or you said you or me? Okay. So again, it's going to include places like Saginaw, Swan Creek, Brant, Merrill, Chesaning, New Haven, New Lothrop, Montrose, Taymouth, Frankenmuth, and Flushing. Does not include downtown Flint, but does include the North Metro of Flint. I assume that's going to be because these storms are pushing that direction. So no statement yet for these storms back here in Kent and Ottawa counties. We'll see if they do decide to put something on those. Looking at the velocity here, again, seeing anything 20 to 30 miles per hour in velocity. And as far as the hail tracker goes, there's just not much to write home about with this. So that's good news, at least. Just a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain out there, maybe some small hail, perhaps an area or two of gusty winds, but generally speaking, there's no widespread severe occurrence.
Yeah, I'm listening to playback on our end of things, and it's coming through pretty clearly. So if you are having audio issues, check your own audio. It is perfect on our end. So. Temperatures along the state line already today, just kind of preparing for later today, already up into the low 70s, primarily in Cass in St. Joseph County right now. So keep that in mind. We have a lot of warm air advection moving in. Our warm front is moving north as we speak. And along with that are some of our higher dew points. So that warm front right now is already in, I believe, the southern row of counties in Michigan. We're just not seeing our moisture advection yet. So something to keep in mind for later.
Let's check out our Burton camera here. Do you want to pop your radar back on there so I can pop
Yep.
Pop this out? Thank you.
So this is kind of turned into one big line. For those who are just tuning in here, you have a special weather statement for the Saginaw County region for 40-mile-per-hour winds, pea-sized hail. One cell in northern Clinton County, southern Gratiot County right now, heading into Maple Rapids, St. John's, heading over towards Ovid and Elsie. Also currently in Fowler. Pea-sized hail possible there. Otherwise, just torrential downpours and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning out there today. I will say, as mentioned earlier, up here where they're away from these stronger storms, in this entire rain shield up here, there is cloud-to-ground lightning happening as well. I can confirm myself here in Mount Pleasant. It is very loud, and I keep seeing thunderbolts that are lightning strikes that are touching from cloud to ground out here. So even if you are away from these heavier cells down here in the I-96 corridor, so if you're up here in Roscommon, Crawford, Clare, Osceola, Gladwin, do be keeping in mind that any rain showers today do have the juice to at least produce some dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning. So when thunder roars, go indoors, stay indoors for 30 minutes till after you hear thunder or see your last lightning strike. Again, cell number 3 moving through Rockford, north of Lowell right now, heading into Smyrna and Belding once again. Flood advisory in effect for downtown Grand Rapids, Northview, Comstock Park, Rockford, Wyoming, as well as East Grand Rapids. And then over here we have kind of the cells kind of breaking up a little bit, so we have an extension of that down here in Hamilton, heading into Hudsonville and Jamestown. But none of these storms are currently severe warned. We have one special weather statement out there, as mentioned, for the I-75 regions in the southern tri-counties. So it kind of includes portions of Flint as well. Burton Cam is live.
Do you want to manually override that bar for the SWS? You want to keep it as it is?
Bad news. They're the IWO alerts. So unfortunately, because I accidentally replaced all the MSC files with IWO files, they're all IWO files. Actually, yeah, it would be IWO. So.
Gotcha. Report coming out of Allegan County, 2 miles east of Holland, of mothball-sized hail as of about 5 minutes ago. That is a new cell, or not really new, but an existing cell that is now pushed into. Hold on. Yeah, that makes sense. New Zealand area. It's going to be mothball size hail occurring with that cell. And again, it's not severe. That is half of the size of a severe hailstone. But regardless, you don't want to be outside walking around with mothballs falling out of the sky. So head indoors. There's no statement on that storm. Unless that is a delayed report, which I don't think it is. It came through IAM just 5 minutes ago. So. The box over Genesee County is a special weather statement. Those are issued when storms are not severe, but they can be close or basically strong storms. In this particular instance, that blue box on my screen, I don't know if Joel has a tan box on his, but that's going to be for 40-mile-per-hour winds as well as half-inch hail, which is mothball size. So it's not quite severe, but it's still strong.
Yeah, these are traveling right down the M46 corridor here. So, heading into Reese, Fairgrove, Unionville, Gagetown as well. Extension of that. We are also watching the cell back here in St. John's right now, which also appears to be packing a little bit of a punch. However, nothing's showing up on VIL. CC seems to be picking up on some light hail falling there. So, not severe, but you could see some. You will see a very heavy downpour, indicated by the reds and the purples, but hail, likely small and subsevere. Thank you guys all for the super chats so far today. Appreciate you all. Kind of with operations going on, we can't get to them all today, obviously, but we do appreciate you guys nonetheless for supporting operations here at Michigan Storm Chasers. So thank you. Thank you, Baker. Widely scattered thunderstorms are still possible this afternoon and evening. Severity still a question mark given our capping inversion, but we'll likely still see some elevated cells, kind of similar to what we're seeing out there right now this morning as of 11:24 a.m. Now changing to 11:25. So keep that in mind. Let's go throughout the day. I hear just wanted to make sure that wasn't consumers showing back up to cut my power again. It's a garbage truck. Right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We're just kind of looking at the storms as they progress across the east side of the state. Staying live just as a precautionary measure. We do have one thunderstorm that is strong right now. That special weather statement in effect for locations such as Chesaning, Carlton, Garfield, Freeland, Arthur, Beecher, Owasso, New Lothrop, Fenmore, Buena Vista Township, Montrose, Guerra, Indiantown, Clio, Bridgeport, Zilwaukee, Hemlock, Corunna, Saginaw, and Shields. Those are all the cities involved in this special weather statement for 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-sized hail.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Take Ryan off there. Again, current time is 11:26 p.m. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, probably a 30-second delay here. If you're watching on Twitch, you have probably about a 5-second delay, so a lot quicker of a delay. So if you want to try out Twitch TV, it is there. Our username is Michigan Storm Chasers if you want to watch with minimal delay. I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma, live in our studios from across the state. Again, we had one big severe thunderstorm warning so far this morning. It's kind of a recap for Muskegon, Ottawa, Kent, Ionia, Montcalm, and southern Newaygo counties. and a sliver of Eaton County, for those who remember that little sliver there in Mulliken and Sunfield. Right now, that was the only severe thunderstorm warning that triggered the live coverage. And we have a special weather statement in effect currently for Saginaw and Shiawassee and Genesee counties. Looking out across the lake right now, since we do have a break in the action, there's nothing in terms of precipitation ongoing out there, but it could fill in throughout the day. If we do see, for example, a rain shield down here form and move into southwest Michigan, that would likely hinder any severe development later this evening. So we're watching this cluster right here in south central Illinois. If that does move into southwest Michigan again, as you can see right now, if you go closer to that, it's more elevated in nature. So elevated showers hindering the cap. You also have some showers elevated in nature here in Lafayette, Indiana, so west central Indiana, also moving to the northeast. So a couple areas of cloudy skies and some light rain showers that could inhibit any sort of thunderstorms from becoming strong to severe, kind of overcoming that cap, I guess you could say. But right now there is some sunshine down there along the state line, so keep that in mind. Likely won't be sticking around though, as I see there's a lot of clouds filling in, so that is good news for us later today in terms of a less of a severe threat.
And I'm back.
Sweet.
Now 1,300 people out of power in the Consumers Energy area. And that is mainly because that new outage near the Belmont area is about 500 people involved, which is basically double the amount of people that was out of power before. So if you have a delay of 3 minutes,
Just gonna give one more last update here. Plan to be ending my chase here shortly, but here in Ottawa County at least, it's just all heavy rain and lightning at this rate. Nothing concerning that I'm seeing right now. So see you guys.
Sorry, Ryan, you were talked over by Drew there. I know you don't have Zello pulled up, but whatever you just said, Drew was talking over you, so. Yeah, if you do have a 3-minute delay, it shouldn't be that long of a delay. Try reloading your page, making sure it's working.
yeah, I'm watching on my end on both three platforms, and it's only about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So
not bad.
make sure you're refreshed.
Yep. So, looking at our special weather statement right now, storms are currently tracking down into southern Saginaw and northern Shiawassee County here. Roads that'll be traveling down here: east-west roads, Epton Road, Allen Road, Henderson Road, Riley Road, Juddville Road, as well as far south as Cronk Road and Wilkinson Road. Those are all east-west roads here in extreme northwest Shiawassee County to the northwest of Owasso, kind of near the Elsie and Ovid areas. If you are in Elsie and Ovid, prepare accordingly for torrential downpours, cloud-to-ground lightning, and perhaps some small hail. Winds also up to 40 miles per hour possible with these thunderstorms as they roll through the special weather statement. Looking back at our storm here in Ionia County, kind of a big cluster right now. A lot of reds you can see on radar. Wind-wise, they've kind of died off a little bit. Not really seeing the bright reds and bright greens anymore. I still could see a gust up to 30 to 40 miles per hour within any embedded storm. Looking at CC radar and vertically integrated liquid, our hail cores have also kind of shrunk in size, which is why there's not really any special weather statements out right now for this line in the Grand Rapids. But still, you can see a lot of reds and pinks out there. These storms are putting down quite a downpour today, as well as that frequent cloud-to-ground lightning as previously mentioned. So anytime you do hear thunder, make sure to be sheltering inside, obviously not outside. If you are outside, do not shelter underneath anything tall, such as a tree or metal object. You become just as susceptible to getting struck by lightning. Currently in northern Michigan, nothing going on precipitation-wise unless you are really south of Grayling right now. I go up into the UP real quick and check on the UP. Nothing up there. All clear up there in the UP today. We don't expect any severe to really be in the UP today, besides maybe Menominee County, Mackinac County later on this afternoon. So all the precipitation right now, Mesoscale County, Roscommon, Ogemaw County, and places south. I have about 2,000 of you guys watching here today, maybe a little bit more than that, closer to probably 2,500. So thank you guys for all tuning in so far this morning. We'll be live throughout the day as severe weather happens. I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fruitzman alongside Ryan. It's kind of a reset here. Tracking one severe thunderstorm warning, I should say, earlier this morning, and we've been live since that's happened and gone away. And we're just making sure that these storms do not go severe warned as they cross into the east side of the state. I will say that they're kind of tapping into all of its instability out there, and they're kind of getting choked off a little bit to the south. So right now the strongest storm, I believe, is going to be the Ionia cell and the Owasso cell. Or sorry, the Elsie cell. It's not close enough to Owasso to call it the Owasso cell yet. I was up pretty late last night. Didn't get much sleep, but we will make it through the day. Anything to report on your end, Ryan, right now?
No, I'm just trying to catch up to speed with everything here.
Gotcha. Pouring in Grand Rapids, thank you for the report. Freeland sprinkling there, thank you for that report as well. A couple of you guys also becoming subscribers to the YouTube channel here, seeing the notifications, thank you guys very much as well. Temperature now in Toledo, just across the state line in southern Monroe County now, 73 degrees, Ryan. I'm not sure what you're seeing temperature-wise at your location there in southeast Michigan, but 70 is definitely getting convected into Michigan here within the next hour or two.
I'll take a look here in just a second. My at-home weather station says, and of course it's going to sit and spin on me anytime I need it. I have to update the app, so we're going to update the app. It is currently 68 degrees here in Montgomery County with a dew point of 52. What are you thinking, Joel, in terms of staying live here? I don't see any storms that come in severe at this point.
Not really. A couple strong cells kind of along southern Kent County, southern Ione County, central Ione County as well right now. But these are definitely sub-severe at the current time. A little bit of flooding risk kind of currently going on out there. So take note, especially along this I-96 region where these storms have trained over the same area, that you could see some localized ponding on roads. Swelling creeks as well. If you know you live in a very low-lying area, watch out for water over the roads, essentially, and in your yards. So other than that, that special weather statement up here for Owasso region, Saginaw County, also looking just as weak as probably the storms off to the west a little bit. So
I will say, Joel, near Ovid, there is a pocket of perhaps brighter winds, brighter colors there, velocity, heading toward Flushing and the north side of Flint there. Again, not currently severe warned, but that would be the one storm that I would suggest would be closest to it. That's heading right for or just north of our Burton.
yeah, the cell that we're zoomed in right now in LC, the heaviest pocket of winds that we're looking at are on Riley Road, heading right down Riley Road, Buck Road, and Henderson Road right now, crossing over Carland Road, Baldwin Road, and eventually Friegel Road. So all those roads I just mentioned there in extreme northwestern Shiawassee County, heading just to the south or maybe into the Oakley region in extreme southern Saginaw County. So between Oakley and Owasso is where the heaviest pocket of winds is expected to travel within this cell. Right now looking at 50 miles per hour at about 3,500 feet off the ground.
This is going to pass, I believe, just to the north of Burton Cam. See, Baker had a super chat about 20 minutes ago. Thank you, Baker, for that. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're tracking severe. If we missed your super chats, apologies about that. I'm focused on radar and other things, so apologies. I know we had a couple super chats fly through chat earlier, so if you are still watching, we sent one. Appreciate your support.
Thank you guys very much.
As we continue to grow and as we continue to build viewers and viewership, chat, like I said earlier, just kind of flies by sometimes. And we used to have software that used to pin all those for us. We can go back and look at them, but we don't have that now. So we can't go back and pinpoint who sent what until the day after. So if you did send one, didn't catch it, thank you. Sorry, but the way chat flies by for us now, we can't catch every single one.
Good news is it looks like West Michigan's in the clear for now, besides Kent County, Ione County. Those are only two places left for a strong thunderstorm moving through. If you're south, Allegan, Berry County, southern Berry County mainly, you're looking to be in the clear here. Not really much in way of thunderstorms happening. So, again, moving out pretty quickly, turning into a congealed mess, I guess you could say. Mess in a good way, as in it's very disorganized and not looking to be strong. So we'll give it 15 more minutes here. So no warnings go by around noon, and we'll hop off. Take Ryan's cam here. That is the Harbor Beach cam. Over there in the thumb. Some gravity wave action up there, actually, in the very high levels of the atmosphere.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks pretty wavy up there. This is facing north, for reference. Oh, hey, Joel, I have a list of all the people who did super chats earlier. Maybe I'll name those off real quick. We have Toby, super chat. We have Brittany with a super chat. Red Dozer, thank you very much. Paladin, Tyler, Guy, Dan, and Baker, all sending super chats. Appreciate you guys. We also have Laura and Jordan becoming members, as well as Aces. And we have 2 returning members, Amber Rose and Jordan, gifting membership. So thank you guys for your support here. Apologies for missing all those. And thank you to Julie, for one of our moderators here, pointing out that we have a way to go back and search for those. I did not know that. So thank you, Julie, for that. And also thank you to those of you who became members and gave super chats.
Glad to help out, Jeanette. So we're here to track from beginning to end, sometimes beyond the end. So strongest thunderstorm right now, even though it's not special weather statemented, moving in through Ionia County, heading into Clinton County as we speak. Downtown Lansing on your doorstep here in the next 10 minutes, maybe even 15. Just otherwise widely scattered thunderstorms going on right now that are not severe. You can see no severe thunderstorm warnings anywhere in the state.
I'm almost inclined to pop out of here, Joel.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we'll probably give it until 11:55, 12 o'clock, and then we'll call it. Take a break, get refueled. Again, we don't know what's going to happen later this afternoon, especially given that all our model runs are all over the place, and it's, at this point we're kind of watching meso analysis at this current time. So we'll have to see what the warm front does, how much instability we can have advect into the region, and of course if the capping inversion can break, which is our number one thing between a boom or bust forecast, as we used in our forecast package yesterday.
Is my camera still live by chance? It is not. Okay. We have storms approaching to the north of the Charlotte cam. We have a little bit of a front to it, elevated front, like.
There we go. There's a Charlotte cam.
Again, facing northwest here at the Charlotte Fire Department. Again, shout out to those guys for letting us put a camera up there. If you're watching this, guys, appreciate you. We're going to be working on getting everybody's logos and stuff on these streams as well in the future. Just bear with us here as we work out some bugs and make new overlays here. So peeking around the state, though, we also have the Ionia camera currently raining there, facing west, courtesy of the old stone porch. Got the Burton camera there at Guardian HQ, facing south, currently raining there as well. You got Dearborn facing northwest, looking a little bit brighter there with some rain passing off to the east. And also Harbor Beach, which is not in rotation right now, but we just watched that cam about 5-10 minutes ago. So.
Not much to track right now for those who are just tuning in. We have, again, strong thunderstorm rolling through southern Saginaw, northern Shiawassee County right now with winds up to 40 possible and pea-sized hail. Same kind of story down there in Ionia and Clinton County right now. I don't have my radar live because I can just kind of read it off here. But Ionia County, Clinton County, same story, 40-mile-per-hour winds. If you live anywhere in the county, primarily eastern Ionia, western Clinton right now, 40-mile-per-hour winds, pea-sized hail there as well. And these storms are heading into Lansing within the next 10 minutes, as mentioned. So don't expect any of these to really blossom into severe thunderstorms here in the next couple of minutes. But we're still here just in case, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that looking at the meso right now, Joel, as analysis, looks like we have that warm front is draped across the border still, but we're already seeing widespread upper 60s across South Michigan here. So that warm front is really trying to push northward. In fact, I believe it already has. This is an hour old. That warm front surged to 94 corridor as of, yeah, that front's actually on 94 right now.
Especially in southwest Michigan. East side of the state, not as much, but in southwest Michigan for sure, especially where there's some sun shining there.
Yeah, if you look at meso on the surface analysis, you can see the moisture is still down in central Indiana, but the warmer temperatures, Ann Arbor, Jackson, and what appears to be Battle Creek all have upper 60s and upper 40s with dew points. So that front is definitely in Michigan. Current temperature down in Adrian, where I'm at, is 70 degrees. So we already hit 70 degrees across much of Michigan, South Michigan, should I say. And it's not even noon yet. That is great. On our way to 80 degrees today. Will we get there? No one knows.
The temperature swing right now in the state, for those who are curious, we have a couple reports of 72 degrees right along the border right now in southern Michigan. Compare that to Copper Harbor up there in the UP. It is 38 degrees with a north wind off of Lake Superior. So we have a almost 35-degree difference between the coldest temperature and the warmest temperature in the state today. So it's a wide range of what's happening weather-wise across Michigan. There's no way to chat with on Twitch. We need more Twitch followers for that to happen. So Twitch is one of our newer platforms that we're just getting started on, Colin. So if you know anyone that also uses Twitch, feel free to direct them in that location. Again, the link to Twitch is twitch.tv/MI Stormchasers. Ryan, does this cam look a little wide to you?
What do you mean?
Everything looks like kind of condensed a little bit.
Looks fine to me.
That looks a little better. That looks a little better, I think. Another quick radar update for those who are just tuning in. Still moving into the Lansing area as that cell as it rolls right down 96. Detroit's picking up on some very high elevated hail, but it's likely it's melting before it even gets to the surface right now. So, but let us know if you're in Ionia County, Clinton County, what you're seeing out there. As of right now, though, no severe weather warnings in the state. We are just live as a precautionary measure, but we'll probably hop off here in the next 5 minutes. Any storms later today will fire primarily after 3, 4 o'clock. I have not checked the model runs, and I'm not going to, because models in such a short window of time are kind of almost more inaccurate than just watching meso analysis as it rolls throughout the day. But there's a large large dry slot moving into southern Michigan right now with a lot of warmer temperatures. So we're going to be closely monitoring that as we roll past noon here. Between noon and 3 o'clock when peak heating especially happens. See how far north that warm front gets.
As far as the model goes, Joel, if you want to talk about that for theoretical purposes.
If you want to take it, do you have it pulled?
I can. Give me 5 seconds here. I'll let you know that. Move that over.
While Ryan's doing that, what you're seeing on radar here is your intensity of the rain. So reds and pinks, not necessarily scary, but that does indicate it's a strong cell at the very least with very heavy downpours ongoing. So it's also, if you see reds and pinks, also indicative of some small hail usually. But right now we're not really seeing that, unless you guys are seeing otherwise. Again, it's a little far away from the radar site here, so let us know what you're seeing.
All right, I have it pulled up here. This is the future forecast model here from the AAR. So here's noon. Here's noon according to that model. So it kind of looks about what's happening out there. Here's 1 p.m. Here's 2 p.m. By 3 p.m., it says we have 2 little cells up there by the Gaylord area. Have to watch those. There could be hail producers. Here is 4 p.m. Here's 5 p.m. Here's 6 p.m. So I want to pause it there. That warm front that we talk about is going to be draped somewhere across that area. So if these storms can break through that cap, they would pose a risk for severe weather. But if that cap is very strong, which you expect it to be, that may not be severe. We'll have to watch it. As we move into the evening, here's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Additional storms fire up on the cold front. But at this point, our instability is starting to weaken. So let's see what kind of threat we have, if any, there, as well as a cap in place still through that time frame. Here's midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then about 5 or 6 in the morning. Maybe a late night, guys. At least for Joel and I. Probably Caleb too, for Indiana. But for us here in Michigan, we'll be up probably tracking these all night. So speaking of all night, Joel, it's almost noon here, so I would almost suggest that we should probably pop out of here and get our work done for the day, and then take a breather here, especially those storms around 3 or 4 o'clock. You decide to go rogue and go severe. We might be back in about 2 or 3 hours.
I agree. If this, for whatever reason, does decide to drop a warning in the next couple minutes here, we will be back live covering it as needed. I'm just going to take a look at it real quick just to make sure I'm not missing anything here. It's still pretty potent. It's a pretty potent updraft still. You see the reds on your ZDR radar, which is better updrafts than it is downdrafts. Echo tops well above 35 to 40,000 feet, which is kind of surprising there, but those are all elevated storms. VIL, though, is kind of on the downtrend, so it looks like we're going to luck out here.
I will say, Joel, with that warm front surging north, if that warm front can cross these cells, we could be looking at potential additional severe if it can attach to the warm front. I know it's probably close to that area, probably still a little bit off to the south, but if it can attach to the warm front, that may become severe in the next hour or two, but we'll see if that happens. That's a long shot.
It is 73 in Three Rivers right now, by the way. 70 in Coldwater, with southwesterlies quickly streaming in. Wind gusts down there 20 to 25 miles per hour already. So this warm air advection is moving in rather quickly. So we'll have to watch out later. And we'll see if that, again, interacts with these current morning storms as they move off to the east. So
if you take my nice video back, there's your warm front. This is real-time analysis here. So that front's probably somewhere between 94 and 96, somewhere in this vicinity right now.
yeah, because there's already dew points in the low 50s in the 94 corridor, just starting to hit 50. Charlotte, Mason. It's a 53.
Down there
there's a 53 dew point at GRR right now, likely due to the residual moisture left over from these storms that have moved through. But on a warm front basis, that moisture appears to be just like right along the 94 corridor right now in Kalamazoo, Calhoun County.
And taking a peek to the south here, Illinois, already 60s dew points. Indiana starting to fill in as well. Those will fill in further north as the afternoon goes on. So we're going to watch that moisture throughout the morning, and actually it's afternoon technically now. But we're going to see that trend upwards here as we move into the afternoon today. Okay. 57 dew point in that South Bend, Elkhart, Gary area. Crazy.
What'd you say?
57 dew point up there in northwest Indiana.
Yeah.
But it is 12 o'clock, so I think we are going to pop out of here.
I will say that the latest scan did uptick just a little bit. Still a potent updraft here. Primarily right near Lake Odessa, north of Sunfield, north of Mulliken, which is where I was the other day. This is traveling right down 96 towards Eagle, Portland, and eventually the north side of Lansing towards DeWitt. So if you live in this area of the state, so Ionia, extreme eastern Ionia County, Clinton County, northern Ingham County as well, within the next coming minutes, expect some very heavy downpours and perhaps some small hail as they roll in. Again, we're going to hop off because these storms are no longer severe. But again, if they go severe, we'll be right back here. Trust us, we'll be here for you guys from beginning to end in any sort of severe weather warnings throughout the day. So with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and hop off. Before we do, we got to go over the advertisers, our sponsors here. Before we do, again, what we do here at Michigan Storm Chasers is not free. It does cost us to run our operations here. With that being said, we'll go through them with the full list here, starting off with Storm Guard, based out of Southeast Michigan. Phone numbers on the screen there. As we roll through these ads, you can go ahead and pause the stream and kind of screenshot them down. Ryan, you look like you want to say something.
I do. There's a new special order statement in effect for Owasso, Flint, Mount Morris, Grand Blanc, Chesaning, Taymouth area for that cell you're just talking about. So as that moves into Genesee and Shiawassee County, it will pose a risk for 40 mile per hour wind gust as well as half-inch hail.
Perfect. I was going to ask about that, what the hazards were. So appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and roll through the rest of the advertisers here. Pro Powder, number on your screen there for any powder coating needs in southwestern Michigan. And Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding, based in Sanilac, St. Clair. Okay, Tree Specialist, that's going to be your southeast Michigan sponsor for tree work. Lifestyle Exteriors, based out of Lansing to Traverse City. Kuiper Tree Care, based out of West Michigan. Katz Roofing and Siding, that's based out of the Lansing and Potterville. Kalamazoo, Gold Lake residents, check out Gold Lake Tree Pro. If you need any barn dominium needs in the Lower Peninsula, FBI Buildings is your go-to there. Henkel's Tree Service for tree service needs in St. Joseph County, southern Michigan in general. On Top Roofing for all your roofing replacement needs in Livingston County. Obviously, you have Guardian, which is our Skycam network sponsor that gets all of our webcams up throughout the state. We cannot do what we do for our Skycams without their help in getting those set up, so thank you, Guardian. We also have Floor Coverings International of Michiana. And then two sponsors that we are just adding to our roster here are Schneider Commercial Business Solutions, based out of Lansing, as well as Shield Public Adjusters, also based out of Lansing. Give Dave Schneider a call. The number for either of those is 888-SCBS-027. That translates to 888-722-7027. The other number for Shield Public Adjusters is 517-249-5720. So those are all our advertisers here at Michigan Storm Chasers that help keep our operations going. We do appreciate them very much. A round of applause to our sponsors. Again, we can't do it without them. And yeah, we'll be back later this evening or later this afternoon as severe weather rolls through the state, if it does, with the capping inversion in place. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Ryan, if you have anything else left to say, now's that time to do it. Otherwise, we'll check out.
I got nothing else besides we're watching the storm just north of Lansing here. If it does go warm, we'll be back. We'll be here pretty much all day and all night. So long day ahead, guys.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back.
Yep. We're locked in, so we got you covered. So stay safe out there. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warning. And as always, follow our page, like the page if you haven't done so already. We'll be back. So have a great afternoon, everyone. We'll see you soon.